What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stack Bitcoin Show. My name is Roman, and this is, like I said, the Stack Bitcoin Show, your beginner-friendly guide to saving in Bitcoin. What up? Hard Huddle in the house. Stack or get stacked on. Welcome, Hard Huddle. Thanks for tuning in. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Am I too loud? Check 1 2. Yo. Oh, I think the music was a little too loud. Sorry about that. Hope all is well. Man, I got myself a summer do. Can you tell? Supercuts. Just kidding. Not supercuts. Not sport clips. Dad clips. I cut my own hair. Just don't look at the back. I got tired of the hair going right in my eyes during jiu-jitsu, during boogie boarding, and just like the hair coming down into my visor when I'm wearing my helmet. If I don't put it on just right, my hair is long, it'll just come down and be like right there in my eyes, and I have to like push it against the sponge. Anyway, yeah, so summer do is in order. Today, during the middle of the show, we're going to talk about sell Bitcoin to pay off debt, yay or nay. Okay, I need to cut my own hair. Yeah, I used to do it when I was a kid. I haven't done it as an adult very much, but yeah, it looked okay. It looks okay, you know. It's better than most choppers will do. Hair choppers, hair cutters. But yeah, so, and I didn't have to tip myself. Free haircut, no tip. That's like $40, $50 saved right there. I should stack that, actually. I should stack that. All right, so yes, so we're going to be focusing on that during the middle of the show, right after why we stack. We're going to talk about should you sell Bitcoin to pay off debt? Does it make sense? I've made a bunch of graphs, a bunch of details we can show, and it's going to be a good episode. So if you're curious, if you should sell some of your Bitcoin to pay off your debts, stay tuned. We're going to show you some numbers. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to show you some numbers, and that'll help you make your decision. Okay? All right. So let's kick things off with the first segment of the show. First of all, round of applause from the live studio audience for Carlos Aramillo. What up, Carlos? Thanks for tuning in. Hope all is well. And now, let's get into it. The Bitcoin strength. Today, the price of Bitcoin is $107,586.64. You can buy 929 Satoshis for a single dollar. What does that mean? Well, a Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. Just like a dollar has 100 cents, a Bitcoin has 100 million Satoshis. So you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. You can buy it in fractions. And why is that important? Because it means that at $107,000 Bitcoin, you're still not priced out. You can still buy 929 fractions for a dollar, right? Let's say you're walking down the street, minding your own business. You look down, you see a penny, you pick it up, and all the day that penny will be worth 9.3 Satoshis for a single penny. That's not bad. See? So don't think you're too late to Bitcoin. You don't save to buy Bitcoin. You save in Bitcoin. So that said, if you have any questions, if you're new here, new on the stream, and have any questions about Bitcoin, please leave your questions. I'm happy to answer them. And let's kick things back to the main page over here now that we've gone over the Bitcoin strength. All right. Yes. If you can't stack today, double stack tomorrow. Oh, that's a good point. Honestly, guys, I've been struggling to stack this week. I'm going to struggle the hardest this week because of the 100 days of saving in Bitcoins challenge. It's killing me. Some of the stuff I thought would sell by now hasn't sold yet. So I'm like dancing on the edge of like being completely tapped out, no dry reserves or no dry powder, right? So I need to figure something out. Like quick, right? So it's crazy. Anyway, as you're tuning in, do me a favor, guys, hit that like button, and let's get into the next topic. Of course, that is why we stack. Why we stack. This is helpful for beginners wondering what's all this talk about Bitcoin, man? What are you talking about? Why should I save in Bitcoin? What do you mean? What do you mean the money's losing purchasing power? What are you talking about? Well, it's super simple. right? When money represents the value of the economy, right? And there's a certain set of money, a certain number of dollars in existence. When those dollars expand, when there's more dollars representing that same value, you don't get more value. You just get more fractions of that value, right? For example, if the whole pie represents the value that the US dollar is representing, and you have a pie that is 4 slices, each slice is worth 25% of that economy, right? So that would be if there's only $4 in existence. If you double it and you make $8, right? Then now each slice, each dollar is representing an eighth of the value that the whole pie represents. And in that transition, going from $4 to $8, you devalue every single slice by half. So a quarter of a slice is now worth an eighth of a slice, right? And if you're tracking that value in terms of that pie, in terms of dollars, you don't realize that you got debased, because to you, it's still a slice. It's still a dollar, right? Even though that slice or that dollar is now worth half of what it used to be worth before the money supply expanded, right? And what you can say, well, what are you talking about? What are you talking about money supply expansion? Well, when the debt goes up and our interest on our debt continues to go up and the money supply continues to increase, right? We have a money supply that continues to expand over time, right? And as the money supply expands, you get the same effect as if you're slicing the pie more times, right? And the more they slice the pie, the more money they print, the more money that has to come into existence, the less each individual dollar is worth, the less each individual dollar can purchase. And in that process, they debase you, they take your savings, right? I have a meme I'm going to show you guys. Okay, it perfectly explains what the situation is. Here we go. Imagine working 9 to 5 for 50 years. Then the Fed prints 40% of the total money supply and inflates away 20 years of your work. That is why we stack, ladies and gentlemen, to prevent that. If this gentleman had taken his retirement money and bought Bitcoin with it instead of holding it in cash, holding it in dollars in a savings account somewhere, then his savings would not only be immune to that money supply expansion and inflation, it actually increase his purchasing power over time. And over 20 years, over 50 years, that's a huge window. And you can't really go back and restart, right? So make the decision today to start saving in Bitcoin. The sooner you start saving in Bitcoin, the better. Even if you're starting today, it's still better than starting tomorrow. It's not as good as starting yesterday, but it's still better than starting tomorrow. Okay. All right. So to wrap the Why We Stack segment up into a nice little package with a little bow tie on it. Why do we save in Bitcoin? Because saving in Bitcoin is like traveling back in time and giving yourself a perpetually increasing retroactive raise for the hours you've already worked for as long as you hold a Bitcoin that represents those hours. That's it. That's why we save in Bitcoin. All right. Now, let's talk about the topic of the show, which is sell Bitcoin to pay off debt? ? I say, nah. Do this instead. First, let's look at the problem. Okay, let's say, put a little background music here, guys. Oop, where is it? It's not playing. There it is. Let's say, we'll use an example. Let's say that you have a debt that is, $10,000 of debt. Okay, and that $10,000 of debt is costing you 5% interest. Okay. And you have to pay $500 a month in order to pay that debt off in 20 months. Okay? So that's 20 months divided by 12. Oops. 20 divided by 12 is 1.6 months. So 1 year and 2/3 of a year. Okay? Once you pay, if you pay off that debt, you know what? I'll bring up a chart to make it easier for you guys to see. Where's the browser? Boom. Okay, here we go. Let's say that you are required to make your payment, of course, of $500 a month, right here. And this green line represents the debt you owe going down over time, over the 20 months. If you're just paying $500 a month to that debt, okay, of $10,000, and you're paying a $500 payment, okay. Well, some people will say, hey, what if I pay double payments on my debt and I'll be able to pay it off sooner? And that's true, right? In this case, instead of paying for 20 months, you're paying for, I don't know, 9 months, 8.5 months, right? And you'll be paid off like at month 10, right? So that's pretty good. You save yourself 10 months of payments because you paid double payments, right? It makes sense. You save yourself half the time, okay? Well, what if instead of paying a double payment to your loan, you took the extra $500 and instead of putting them to the payment to make a double payment and get paid off in 10 months, you put that money into Bitcoin instead. And just in the span of this is using the 50% gains on Bitcoin year over year. So distribute it out to like a monthly, right? So if you start with $500 in Bitcoin from zero, instead of sending the extra $500 to the loan, you save it in Bitcoin. Then before you even hit month 6, right, the value of the Bitcoin you've been paying or you've been saving will get to this crossroads where you could potentially just liquidate that Bitcoin and pay off your loan completely before month 7, right? And the only thing you did differently was instead of sending the second payment to the loan, you took that second payment and saved it in Bitcoin instead, right? So this should help you understand if it makes sense to sell Bitcoin to pay off debt. Okay, looking at this chart and ignoring the double payment, the light green line, and you just you see what it would mean. Yes, taxes would affect that a little bit too, but you see what it would mean. That's it. Taxes would affect it if you liquidated the Bitcoin to pay the loan off, right? But most loans are front loaded, so most of the interest gets paid in the first part of the loan. So you've already made the biggest payments to interest as is. So as the loan trails out, you're mostly paying the principal now, right? So does it make sense? And to me it does, to just, when you get to this point where your Bitcoin savings is equivalent to be able to pay off your debt, to continue to just pay the mortgage and not liquidate your Bitcoin, right? Because right here is a point where you can be free and clear, right? But if you just continue to save in Bitcoin instead of liquidating that and paying off your debt, in another 10 months, your savings go up to like $17,000, almost, $17,000, right? So this is starting from zero. If you already have Bitcoin and you're asking yourself the question, should I sell my Bitcoin to pay off this debt? Well, as long as you can service the debt, as long as you can make your minimum payments, right, and the interest rate is not over the growth rate of Bitcoin, so I would say less than 20%, even less than 20%, right? Yeah, it sucks that you're paying all the interest, but you're still beating that interest with the Bitcoin, with the rate of Bitcoin growth, right? So that's what the screenshot says. Debt interest versus Bitcoin gains is the metric you're looking for. If your debt, if you took a loan from a loan shark and they're charging you 60% interest, pay that shit first. Pay that first before you get your legs broken. Okay. Anything less than the I don't know exactly how much, but still, anything less than I would say like, I don't know, just ballparking here, like 20%, interest, like it sucks, and probably you should pay that off sooner. But like, if you look at the chart, you're still better off paying off. You're still better off saving in Bitcoin the money that you would pay extra towards your loan. Does that make sense? All right, we're going to do another example here. Let me see what it looks like before I put it up on the screen. If you have any questions so far, please do put it in the comments. This is important. Okay, now we're going to do a similar scenario, but now we're going to look at a home that cost us $800,000 to purchase. And I did a mortgage calculator and average mortgage for average home, and we'll say that the payment on this home is $5,000 a month. Okay, we're not counting taxes, we're not counting insurance, any of that stuff. We're just trying to keep some basic numbers. Okay, so let's say your home loan payment is $5,000, and you're on the hook for 30 years. That's 360 months, right? 30 years is a long time, right? But if you're paying your payment $5,000 a month, and you want to do extra payment to your service your mortgage, instead, let's say you have an extra $2,000 a month that you're going to put into your mortgage, right? You're still better off paying. You're still better off taking the extra $2,000 and saving it into Bitcoin instead, right? Because as you can see, at month, well, I don't know, 62 or 63, right? What is that? 64 months divided by 12. At 5 and a third years, 5 years and a quarter, 5 years and a third, 5 years and 4 months, you are basically the value of your savings in Bitcoin, even though you're paying less to save in Bitcoin than you are for the mortgage, can cover your mortgage. Is that right? Can cover the balance of your mortgage, right? If you choose to liquidate and forego this gain up here, right? If you choose to liquidate, boom, you're done. You paid off the balance of your $800,000 loan. The house is yours. You still have to pay taxes. You still have to pay insurance on that property, right? But by taking this benefit right here, you lose this benefit up here. Okay? So now when you ask the question, should I sell my Bitcoin to pay off a debt? As long as the interest rate on that debt is low, you're still better off just continuing to make those payments and letting the Bitcoin stack go parabolic. Right? Crazy, right? So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Keep stacking. What's up, Koji Monster? Koji Monster in the house. Thanks for tuning in. I hope all is well. Also, Pipeline Podcast. What up? Good to see you in here. Hey, I made it. Just watching the video. Cool. Yeah. Perfect. All right. So now let's take the same scenario, and let's say that you're flush with cash. You have the $5,000 to make your monthly payment on mortgage. That's crazy. And you have an extra $5,000, and you're thinking of sending double payments to the mortgage instead of saving the extra. Well, instead of doing that, you should save the extra. So in this scenario, we have the same mortgage. It's costing you $5,000 a month to pay off your debt, and you're also saving $5,000 a month to Bitcoin. Instead of sending the extra $5,000 to the mortgage and making a $10,000 payment per month, you're stacking the extra payment instead of paying extra. Okay, and what that will do for you on the same on that same 30-year loan, right? You get to your break even like a lot sooner. It's like 45 months, like 3.75 years. I don't know if that's exactly right. It sounds too good to be true. Maybe my math is off. Maybe my chart is off. But like, it seems like it because you're saving a lot of cash. You're saving a lot into Bitcoin. You've almost $5,000 a month for 40 months. Is that right? 5,000 times 40. It's 200,000. Why is it so high? Is it because of the appreciation? Yeah. You can't just do yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because you factor in the appreciation rate of Bitcoin, and look at that. Again, to ask the question, now you're paying off your mortgage in about what is it? What was that? 5 and a no. I missed it. I lost my train of thought here. So 45 divided by 12. So in about almost three and 3/4 of a year. So 3 years and 9 months. Oh, 8 months. 8 months. And again, when you get to the point where your Bitcoin savings right here, when you get to the point where your Bitcoin savings are enough to cover the balance of your mortgage, this is the breaking point here. This is the balance point. Do you sell your Bitcoin at that point and cash your loan out and be done with your mortgage on the house, right? Or do you just pay the mortgage out, right? And because if you pay it here, if you sell it and pay here, you don't get this. You don't get this. If you sell it and pay it there, right? So it's a pretty easy decision to make once you see it from that perspective, from the perspective of the perspective of the potential that you have by saving in Bitcoin. Okay, I wanted to talk about this topic today because I'm always on Reddit, Bitcoin Reddit and beginner Bitcoin Reddit. I go on there and I talk smack and I help new people. There's always a question. Today I had to answer that question twice. I have X amount of Bitcoin. I have a whole Bitcoin, and I want to see if I could pay off my car or pay off my something. I think that one of the questions was pay off my car, right? He was asking if it made sense to sell some of his stack to pay off his car loan, right? That he was making payments on, and he was comfortable making those payments. Like it wasn't like a financial burden for him to make those payments, right? And I was like, well, does it make sense to pay off that debt with a better asset, right? Why would you trade that? And now, so I wanted to make a chart to kind of illustrate that and show like what you're actually doing, right? What you're doing when you sell your Bitcoin, even on a $10,000 loan, right? When you sell your Bitcoin to cover the cost of your loan, you are foregoing this part. This is the part you're giving up. Okay, so is this part worth the satisfaction of having one less debt or paying off your debt when you know that the interest rate on that debt is below significantly the gains of Bitcoin, like the growth of Bitcoin, right? So anyway, sorry to talk about it so much, guys. I just wanted to make sure that I covered that point clearly. And yeah, like if it was me and I had that debt to pay, I would just write it out, because not only that's the technical stuff, right? Let's talk about, like, I guess the philosophical stuff, right? When you pay off that debt at term, you're paying in the future. So on the mortgage, you're paying like 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, right? And that debt is denominated in dollars. Okay, so that means that no matter what, you have to hit that number in dollars. Let's just say it's, again, $800,000 is your debt for that house. So the bank doesn't care how you get that $800,000. They just want $800,000 in their account by 30 years. Okay. So, okay. They have no idea, no scale. They're in the matrix. They're in the money matrix, right? So when you take you take your value, you take it outside of the money matrix that's inflating the value away. You put it into Bitcoin, and the bank's debt is still in the money matrix. That bank's debt is getting inflated as well, right? That bank's debt, the bank is taking the loss on inflation for you, right? So it's one of the rare cases. It's one of the rare cases where you can beat the bank, right? You beat the bank by paying it back with weaker money. Okay? The purchasing power of the money today that you're using to buy Bitcoin, it could buy you a lot more Bitcoin than it can in a year, in 10 years, in 30 years, right? I mean, this show's only been around for 2 years, and look what we've done so far, 100% gains. That means that the purchasing power of the dollar that we use to buy the first stack is down like about 100%. Well, not, like I said, 100%? I don't know how that works. But in terms of Bitcoin, I guess it is, right? Because you need 100% more dollars today to buy the same 1,800 Satoshis that we did on day one, right? You double. No. Is it double? Actually, we more than doubled that stack, because that is actually a $5 stack is turned into like almost $20. So 300% more dollars to buy that same 1,800 Satoshis. It's crazy. 18,000 Satoshis. It's crazy, right? So it's a lot of moving parts, but once you understand the concepts, there's all these financial things that all this financial advice that used to be good financial advice, because we didn't have an asset class like Bitcoin that could actually not mature, that could actually beat the rate of inflation. And it's just better to hold it. It's just like simple math at that point, right? Like, what's going to give you more yield? If you look just apples to apples, right? What's going to give you more yield? And it's right there on the chart. Super simple. Okay. So, any questions? I know it's a weird topic for us to have on the show, but I wanted to do more things like this to kind of help people understand Bitcoin and the power of Bitcoin, how you can use it to, like, it's like a little engine, right? It's like a little engine that flips inflation for you. And now instead of inflation taking the value from your savings because you're saving in cash, it's building you up. Inflation itself is making the value of your Bitcoin go up relative to everything else in the market, everything else in the money matrix, right? And now, since your purchasing power is stronger with Bitcoin, you're able to shift in and out of the matrix and go back into the matrix. And if you want, you could pay off your debts, right? But it makes more sense still just to pay the minimum debt, just to pay the minimum payments, so the bank can carry the loss of inflation purchasing power. Okay. All right. I hope that made sense. Let's move on to the next topic, guys. I appreciate you guys having the patience for me to explain that. But now that we have done that, let's get into one of my favorite parts of the show, of course. That is the stack recap, because we don't only talk about stacking Bitcoin here Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. We actually do it, and this is the proof. We've tracked our Bitcoin buys all year long, 2025, 2024, and since the beginning of the show, May 22nd, 2023. In 2025, we've saved $4,180 into Bitcoin, and that's currently worth $4,841 for a 15.83% gain. In 2024, we saved $7,345, and that's currently worth $13,175 for a gain of about 79%. That's wild. It's wild. For the whole lifespan of the show, for our full strategic Bitcoin reserve of the Stack Bitcoin show, we've saved $14,989. Ooh, today we might hit $15,000. And it's currently worth $29,546 for a gain of about 97% since the beginning of the show. Of course, it's all weighted out, so you can see, like, this buy obviously is over 100% gains, right? And the latest buy is like whatever. We have all these lines. Oops, where'd it go? All these lines represent an episode of the show, and they've all been done mostly during the show. So it's right there. It's right there in simple, easy to understand spreadsheet. We're stacking crazy, and yeah, we've done a bunch of other things on the side as well, like the 100 days Bitcoin savings challenge. We've done that multiple. We're on our second run of the 100-day Bitcoin savings challenge. 21moto.com project, the donations from the awesome viewers of the show, reclaim Bitcoin stuff I've sold out of my garage and immediately bought Bitcoin with that proceed, and the side hustles, of course, just random stuff I'll do on the side for a little extra income. I stack that right away into the show because we're trying to get to 1 Bitcoin before this thing takes off on us, right? With all of those counted, We're currently at 0.377263222 Bitcoin for the whole strategic Bitcoin reserve, currently worth in dollars at about $40,529.92. There it is. See this barcode here? This barcode here, you can scan it and you can send donations to the show. If you send a donation with this barcode, include a message. I will track the message with the donation and be able to have it here on the spreadsheet. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's over here. Got it. Boom. There it is. This is a donation that Carlos sent from the middle of the Amazon, from the Amazon jungle, DCA to BTC. And this is a anonymous donation. It came through from one of our favorite loyal viewers, Stack the Facts. So if you want to include your note in our spreadsheet, this is a barcode you use to donate, and I'll of course track the donation. And slow and steady, you'll be helping us to get to 1 Bitcoin, to hit the goal of 1 Bitcoin. All right. That is the stack recap. Let's go to 2025. Our average purchase price in 2025 is $96,019. Today, the price of Bitcoin is $107,000. So today, we're going to buy $20 worth of Bitcoin right now during the show. Now that we know how much Bitcoin we're going to buy, there's only one thing left to do. Oh, besides blow your eardrums, it's time to stack some sats. Oh, I got used to saying sats. I'm going to stack some sats, which are fractions of a Bitcoin. Satoshis. Let's go. Let me get my phone up here. Let's see if Strike lets me purchase today, because I'm stacking too close to the sun. Phew. All right. Here we go. I'm going to hit the, oops, I'm going to go full screen. Hit the buy button. I didn't even do the screen. There we go. So I'm stacking some Bitcoin. All right, here we go. Buy. $20 worth. Confirm. Oh, that was fast. Didn't even give me a shot to hit the drum roll. Jeez. Drum roll's still going. Wow. Okay. There it is. Okay. That stack was for 18,429 Satoshis added to the stack. Let's go to the spreadsheet and populate the spreadsheet with today's purchase. Today is 6/30/25, and the price of Bitcoin we deserve today is $107,547.89 Bitcoin. We bought $20 worth, and that got us 0.0001849 Bitcoin, 18,429 Satoshis added to the stack. Slow and steady. Maybe it doesn't win the race, but still, we'll be better off than not doing it at all, right? At the rate we're going, $20 a day, we probably will not hit 1 whole Bitcoin. But my hope is that as the channel grows and we start to make revenue with the channel, we'll DCA that money right back into the show to get us to 1 Bitcoin and make this channel its own little engine that could, a little engine that could basically take all the proceeds and put them right back into our strategic Bitcoin reserve. All right, with that last purchase, we are now at a final total of 0.377444751 Bitcoin, and that is the Stack Bitcoin show. Dang, that was good. I'm proud of this episode. I'm happy with this episode. Here we go. All right. Let's do it. Let's do a closeout poll. Closeout poll. Let's see. What are we gonna put? To answer the question. Oh, what is that? Can I do that? There it is. Start a poll. Sell Bitcoin to pay debt. Or just pay it at term. Sell some Bitcoin to pay off debt. That is the poll. I mean, you think, eat good, stack greater. That's right. That's right. Keep stacking. Taxes might affect. Yep. I'm gonna read. So someone said yes. Sell Bitcoin to pay off debt. Just watching the video. But okay, amount of debt. Several layers of debt on top of debt. It's crazy. Oh yeah. Yep. We're split. 2 votes. Stay solvent no matter what. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I like it. The crowd is split. It makes sense to stay solvent, but at the same time, how are you going to? No, not how are you going to? Yeah, I don't know. I think as long as you're solvent if your income is consistent and you're able to pay off that debt. That's what is that considered solvent? I would consider that solvent, right? Like, let's say you have that debt and you're able to pay on that debt without being late, and just paying the minimum on it doesn't affect it. Doesn't affect you in a negative way. Why would you pay extra on that debt, right? When you already got the loan approval, when you already got the good interest rate, right? It doesn't make sense to pay it off early with today's better money when you can pay it off in the future with tomorrow's weaker cash, since the loan is denominated in dollars anyway, right? Anyway, that's a good poll. All right, I'm gonna end it. Last opportunity to vote. Okay, good. Got some interactions going. All right, boys. I'm all set up. I got my new do. I'm gonna go to jiu-jitsu today. I'm back, baby. I'm going to jiu-jitsu right now after this in a couple of hours, and I'm excited and a little bit scared, actually. A little bit scared. I'm afraid I'm gonna get just like rolled up, but I'm gonna go face the music and just go for it. Like this was it next month? This July. I'm gonna try not to miss any of my regularly scheduled jiu-jitsu classes. So I'm gonna try to do 3 days a week consistently, maybe even more. And I'm cutting out sugars and trying to go keto for this month, and then see how it goes. And I'll keep you guys informed. Okay. I think keto helps with the swelling after jiu-jitsu. So if I'm in keto, I'll have less propensity to be swollen and injury, right? So anyway, I really want to focus up on jiu-jitsu and level up. There's so many resources out there. There's so many things to learn about jiu-jitsu, and I feel like I just need to buckle down and try to get to my next level. Not necessarily in the next belt, but my own personal best. Like, could the jiu-jitsu guy, could Roman today beat the jiu-jitsu guy, the Roman that just got his blue belt, like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months ago? I don't know. That guy might have kicked my ass. That guy might kick my butt right now, right? So could I beat myself at my peak, at my latest peak? Because right now I'm not at my peak, right? Could I beat myself at my last all-time high in jiu-jitsu skills? Could I? Probably not. Not right now. Okay. So I'm gonna work on me, work on getting myself to the point where I can defeat my previous all-time high, and just keep stacking jiu-jitsu classes, baby. All right, Carlos. You're doing keto too. Nice, dude. It's so helpful. I'm also doing like intermittent fasting too. Intermittent fasting and keto. All right. Guys, it's a journey, right? It's fun, it's part of life. So I appreciate you guys, and eat good, stack greater. Exactly. Stay solid. Yeah. So just sharing a little bit of my life with you guys, so you guys get motivated too. I know you guys are working on different things. I know Carlos is like working on his powerlifting, which is freaking awesome. So keep it up, hang in there, keep stacking whatever it is you're stacking. of course, Bitcoin, and of course, stacking good things for your health, and of course, your wealth, baby. Let's go. All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of the Stack Bitcoin Show. Let me get this music going. Oh, it started on its own. Ding! My computer's playing me off, guys. All right. It's changed my perspective on food. Yeah, big time, right? Dude, Fiat Foods. Oh my God, I stopped listening to Fiat Foods. I need to go finish it. I have it in my library. I need to finish that. But yeah, cool. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of the Stack Bitcoin Show. But until then, remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking. Bye, guys. Oh wait, don't go yet. Do me a favor, guys. If you haven't gone over to that new video I just put out, I'm gonna put a link in here. Go watch it, comment, do all the things, heart it, so that I at least get some views on that guy. Here you go. I'm gonna put it right here in the chat. Okay, go watch that video. Watch it all the way through. And if you have another account, watch that too. All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye. Oops. All right, there we go. Later, guys. Have a good day.